one of my amazing viewers asked me the following question. Can you make a video on how all the laws of attraction, imagination, vibration, manifestation and assumption work together, and if there is a specific method for prayer? So today I want to answer this, and I think this is very interesting for a lot of people, so stay tuned until the end because this is gonna clarify a lot. So in my opinion, all these laws, the law of attraction, the law of assumption, the law of vibration, the law of expectancy, reality transurfing, reality creation, magnetizing, and many more terms that basically all mean manifesting, describe the same thing in different words and with a little bit of a different focus, for example, different techniques. But in the end, they all do the same thing and they all do work a very, very similar way. And you can use all of them to manifest. This is just a question of personal preference, which one resonates the most with you. But all of these techniques and teachings do work and they have a lot in common. So I will dive deep into this and analyze this with you now. There are a lot of Neville fans out there, and I'm also a huge Neville fan. The law of assumption is basically very, very similar to the law of attraction, because in the law of assumption, everything you assume and see as true will become reality in 3D. And in the law of attraction, it's basically the same thing, to focus on what you want and it will become true. So in both of these, the state of the wish fulfilled is a key, and in my opinion this vibration and getting into the vortex and living your best life that the law of attraction teaches is basically the same thing as living in the end, because living in the end is a state of no worries, is a state of relief and a state of trust and knowing that it's done. And that's basically the same as in the law of attraction. And if you know that it is done, it will happen exactly the way you want it to. So the law of attraction goes a little bit more general maybe, and the law of assumption focuses a little bit more on very specific assumptions. But in the end, they are basically the same thing. And for me, living in the end is a vibration, and it's the same as relaxing and giving it to the vortex and the universe, and let the universe do its thing. The next similarity I want to talk about is self-concept. If the law of assumption says you need to have a certain self-concept that matches your version in the wish fulfilled in your end, then this is also the same as in the law of attraction, where people say you should create a new you that's in accordance with your wish fulfilled. So Abraham Hicks says that, and Wayne Dyer says that, for example, but also Joe Dispenza says that a lot, that you should create a new version of yourself that matches your wish fulfilled. And if you think about it, that's actually exactly the same as what all the law of assumption fans call self-concept. So let's go straight to the next similarity, and that is letting go. Set it and forget it. I'm sure you heard this term a lot from the law of attraction, and it's often forgotten that the same thing also applies in the law of assumption. In the law of assumption, Neville Goddard says that you should, after impressing your subconscious mind, let go of the thing. He calls it the Sabbath state. And he also said that you should have the least effort and just trust in the knowing that your perfect end is coming to you in the 3D as well. A little bit deeper what Neville Goddard says about letting go and having no effort in manifesting. So I want to read a quote from Neville to you that makes that very, very clear. This quote is used very rarely, so most people don't know about it. What Neville Goddard said about putting in as little effort as possible is the following. If there is one reason in this whole vast world why people fail, it is because they're unaware of a law known to psychologists today as the law of reverse effort. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, it is with a minimum of effort. You must control the direction of the movements of your attention, but you must do it with the least effort. If there is effort in the control and you are compelling in a certain way, you're not gonna get the results. You will get the opposite results, whatever they might be. So this is what Neville Goddard said in his lecture called Assumptions Harden into Fact, that is from 1948. And he also said the following: everyone is moving under compulsion, but nobody understands that the imaginal acts are the real cause of everything we experience. This is from Neville Goddard's lecture, Proof the Law Works. It's from 1971. Another thing about letting go is Vadim Seeland's very famous and very important excess potential. What Seeland means with excess potential is wanting something too much, putting too much importance on it and also too much effort, and therefore not getting what you want and keeping your manifestation away, which is very similar to what all the law of attraction teachers say, and also what Neville Goddard said in that quote that I read to you a few moments ago. My advice for you guys is to do the work, but after you did that and after you impressed your subconscious mind, please let go, enjoy your life, do what you like to do, meet friends, do your hobbies, eat good food, dance to your favorite music, and don't put any effort or extreme importance on your manifestations. This way they will come much, much faster and with a much higher chance of actually happening compared to as if you persist and persist and persist and affirm and affirm and affirm. You don't have to affirm 1,000 times or 10,000 times as some people even talk about on YouTube, but in reality, relaxing is the way bigger key to successful manifestations. So let's go to the next point, visualizing. How does the law of assumption and how does the law of attraction and reality transurfing see visualizing? So in my opinion, this is also, again, very, very similar. Neville Goddard focuses a lot on visualizing while falling asleep, and others don't do that much. But all of the big manifesting teachers talk about visualizing and seeing your wish fulfilled and experiencing in your imagination. For example, Abraham Hicks talks about it. Wayne Dyer talks about it. They talk about praying as if you already have what you desire. They talk about trusting that you have what you desire and seeing that you have already what you desire. And all of them talk about visualizing and that you should do it. Some of them also call it some sort of meditation or prayer, but in the end it's all the same thing, and it's all feeling the wish fulfilled and being grateful for it and knowing that it's coming also in your 3D. Also in the law of attraction there is a lot of things that trigger visuals indirectly, like scripting or vision boards or affirming. So if you affirm or if you script or if you create a vision board, the aim of all of these is to have these images in your mind that see you in the perspective of your wish fulfilled. And that is something that many people overlook. So scripting is not just about writing something, it's actually about diving deep into it and having the emotion and also having the images in your head that correspond with your manifestations. A quick clarification about the word emotion. What I mean here with emotion is more like feeling and fully accepting that this is your new reality and there is nothing that can change that. I certainly do not mean that you should have a very strong emotion, such as feeling overly excited or anything like that. Actually, you should normalize the feeling of your end and the wish fulfilled and just feel and truly accept that it is true. So that's what I mean with emotion here. Vadim Seeland sees visualizing also in a very similar way, but he focuses more on creating movie scenes that are then projected outwards into the universe and from there are being reflected back to you. He focuses on something that he calls the plate, which is located at your back between your shoulder blades, a few inches from your body away, which others before him, like Carlos Castaneda, called the assemblage point. If you activate this point and then trigger your visualizations, they should be projected outwards much better and in a higher quality, and therefore they would work better to attract exactly these movie scenes into your life. So all of them talk about visualizing, the law of attraction talks about visualizing, Neville Goddard talks about visualizing, Vadim Seeland talks about visualizing. All of them talk about visualizing, and in a very similar way. There are slightly technical differences though, but these are not that important. They are more a question of personal preference and what feels the best for you. So try all of them and try all these techniques. If you find one that really works well for you, then stick to it and you will be successful with many, many more successful manifestations to come. So far, I focused more on those teachers that are the most popular these days. But no matter who you look at, even if you look at classics like Joseph Murphy or Louise Hay or even Earl Nightingale, they all talk about visualizing as one of the big keys in manifesting. So where did all this knowledge and all this stuff come from? It came from, for example, the Bible. There are many quotes in the Bible that are related to manifesting, and I think that Jesus was probably one of the first documented cases of an incredible, powerful master manifester, and he wanted to teach manifesting to his students. And that's what his opponents didn't like, so that's why they decided to remove him. There are a lot of Bible quotes that can be related to manifesting, and one of them is John 20:29, and it says, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." And this describes how you should trust in the unseen to be rewarded for that. Where else these things came from are the 7 Hermetic principles, which say that everything is mind and everything is created from our minds. All the reality that we see around us is created in our minds. And then later people developed quantum physics and quantum physical theories, such as the many worlds theory. And even though these are all just theories and it's not proven yet, there are many, many hints that these theories are very likely true. For example, if you look at the double slit experiment, then you can assume that reality is created that way and that reality has many, many layers, and we just jump from one to another to another to another, and that there are endless possibilities for every single situation and endless possible outcomes. So if these theories prove to be true, which is very likely in my opinion, then that would be the final proof that manifesting indeed has a scientific background and that it works like any other law, like gravity or other physical laws. Why do people argue for one side? Why do some people argue for the law of attraction and some people argue for the law of assumption? And some people are in favor of reality transurfing and the mirror principle. That is because people dive deep into one of these concepts and then try that and try those techniques and the corresponding thoughts. And if they have success with that, then they believe that this one works better than the other ones. But this is a very personal thing. And all of these can work, and it depends on what feels the easiest and the most natural to you and what is resonating with you the most. So whatever comes the easiest and most natural to you is what you should do, and if you have success with one, then you can stick to it. I mean, you can sure also try other things, but you don't even have to. If you find your perfect manifesting technique, then you can have a lot of awesome manifestations with that. And there is no need to argue that one is better than the other, because all of them can work and all of them are true, and all of them are actually describing the same thing in different words. They're all manifesting. So no matter if you call it the law of attraction, or you call it the law of assumption, or if you call it the mirror principle or the law of expectancy, it doesn't really matter, because all of these work. Basically, I could continue to talk about all these similarities for many more hours, but now let's move on to the next question of my dear viewer. And that question was if there is a specific technique for prayer that works the best. And in my opinion, the answer is yes, to pray from the perspective of the wish fulfilled, to pray from a perspective of gratitude, of having already received it, and not from a perspective of, please God, help me do this and that, and help me with XYZ, and please can you do ABC for me. Instead, I would go to gratitude of having already received it. This is also how Neville Goddard and Wayne Dyer talk about praying, and that is praying from the perspective of the wish fulfilled. But not only those modern teachers do that, even in the Bible there are some lines that talk about this. And one of them is Mark 11:24, and it says, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you received it, and it will be yours." And I guess this is not the only quote, that was just what I found randomly when I did a quick research about this topic. This will also leave a space for interpretation that says pray first and then believe in it. But I think you should directly pray from the perspective of already having received it, and from the perspective of gratitude. In my opinion, this works the best. I don't usually direct these affirmations or visualizations towards a God or a universe, because I believe that we are all one, and we are all one with God and the universe, and that these prayers or visualizations or affirmations are gonna be picked up anyway, regardless of who you direct it towards. Also, you don't have to speak your prayer out loud. It's enough to repeat it in your mind, and to repeat these thoughts and the visuals that come with it in your imagination. So at this point I want to mention that I am not a religious person. I am just a spiritual guy that loves manifesting, and that's also the standpoint where I come from, and everything that I talk about on this channel is based on my own personal experience, as well as the teachings of those amazing manifesting masters that we discussed in this video, plus the observations that I make in this community, and from the feedback of those people that I gave my advice to. You can pray in any way that you truly like and that truly and honestly resonates with you. It's your reality. You can create the rules. Nothing is set in stone, and manifesting is not about rules, it's about feeling. And I want to encourage you to not pray in a certain way that anybody told you to do, no matter if it's a religious institution or if it's some teacher. You can try what works the best for you, what feels the best for you, and what feels the most potent and satisfying for you. And maybe you will discover a sort of prayer, or you already discovered a sort of prayer that really works well for you. Then please just do that and don't give a damn about what anybody else is saying. Nothing is set in stone. Manifesting is not about rules, it's about feeling, and you know best what's best for you. So that's what I wanted to add here. So I really hope you enjoyed this extensive video. Please hit the like and the subscribe and the bell icon, and click all to receive notifications when I post a new video. This would help me tremendously, and it would also help many people to find this content and benefit from it. Thank you so much. Have a great day, know your power, and see you next time. Bye bye.